Welcome back. Breaking today, convicted murderer Alex Murdaugh pleading guilty to nearly 24 federal financial crimes, including fraud and money laundering. The 55-year-old, who is currently serving a life sentence after being convicted in the murders of his wife and son, admitting in a federal courtroom today that he needed to be held accountable for stealing from his clients. His attorneys held a press briefing shortly afterward and had this to say.
There's two things Alex will tell you. One, he stole the money. Two, he did not kill Maggie and Paul.
And three, he's admitted stealing the money since he was first confronted in September of 2021 by his law firm.
Never denied it.
Joining me now, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Peter Frankel. Peter, good afternoon. As part of today's plea deal, Murdaugh agreed to submit to a lie detector test. Is that usual? Could he be asked about the murders of his wife and son?
Great to be with you, Nick. Thanks for having me. So it is highly unusual. And we know that his murder convictions are on appeal. There are some very serious issues relating to that appeal with respect to some misconduct that's being alleged. I think it's highly unlikely that he's going to be asked about those murders in relation to this agreement to be subject to a polygraph. I think what the federal government was trying to do was, with respect to the other investigations that they're going to be conducting, presumably with his assistance, because he has agreed to cooperate, that they're going to utilize the polygraph in an effort to make certain that the information that he's providing them with is in fact true.
Got it. Now, Murdaugh, he did admit to financial crimes when he testified at his murder trial. Did he have no other choice but to plead guilty in these other cases?
You know, Nick, that's a great point. And the fact of the matter is, his pleas today in federal court relate directly back to his testimony. He had to make a choice in that murder trial, and that choice was, do I testify and try to save myself from murder conviction while at the same time understanding that he was going to essentially convict himself federally for these financial crimes? And he took a gamble. He at least for the moment, lost that gamble, but this was a very easy prosecution for the federal government because he was under oath and he essentially admitted to the financial crimes that he pled guilty to today. So he was left with really no defense.
Peter, go back for me for a second here. Murdaugh's attorneys say that the court clerk in his murder trial actually pressured the jury to convict. Any chance that he's going to get a new trial behind that information?
You know, Nick, I think there really is. I mean, you have to start with the assumption that for these attorneys to file a motion like this, they have to have a good faith basis. You can't just make this stuff up and put it into written pleadings. So this may have some legs, and I think at very least, the court is going to be compelled to conduct a hearing to try to ascertain whether or not this clerk, Rebecca Hill, actually communicated directly with any of these jurors, and if so, what that communication consisted of. Right. Because I'm telling you right now, if she in any way intimated not only her opinion, but anything to suggest that he was guilty, this case is going to be overturned on appeal in a heartbeat. Wow,
Peter, go back to that, because what we're hearing is that it may have been even as casual as, don't believe him because he's kind of slick, y'all. Even if it were as an aside, that could be enough to give him a new trial.
Absolutely, no question about it. That'll never stand. If there's credible evidence that took place, he's going to have another trial.
Oh, Peter Frankel, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.